We just learned about the 5 types of author's purpose. PIDE is the acronym that helps us remember these 5 types of why an author writes. The P is persuade, the I is inform, the E is entertain, the next E is explain, and then the D is describe. So persuade, inform, entertain, explain, and describe. We are going to read paragraphs together, and you're going to mentally test yourself and see if you can pick out the author's purpose. As we go through these together, it'll give you practice before you can show me that you understand this on your assignment. Gaylord Nelson is the person credited for Earth Day. He was convinced that the planet was at risk, so he decided to try to do something to change that. He was elected to the U.S. Senate in 1962. He came up with an idea for Earth Day and announced the concept at a conference he was attending in Seattle in the fall of 1969. Citizens from all over the United States responded to his call. By the following April, Americans were ready. The first Earth Day took place on April 22nd, 1970. 20 million people participated. Thousands of schools and communities got involved. Earth Day celebrations have flourished since that first one in 1970. There is now an Earth Day Network, a nonprofit group that organizes Earth Day activities. In 1990, Earth Day went global when 140 countries participated. Earth Day is now an important day in April. People everywhere are uniting to take care of our planet. So you're thinking to yourself, what was the author's purpose for writing that passage? Was it to persuade, to inform you, to entertain, to explain, or describe? If you thought it was to inform, you were correct. The author's purpose was to inform the reader about how Earth Day came to be. They were giving us lots of facts and history about how Earth Day started. All right, next example. Brooke dragged herself to the kitchen. Ugh, I just want to go back to bed, she thought. She wished it was the weekend, but she knew it was only Thursday. She had to be to school in 45 minutes. I'd better start on breakfast. Brooke glanced at the counter as she opened the refrigerator. What in the world? She thought to herself. She rubbed her eyes and looked again. Yes, she saw the same thing. Purple eggs and green milk? Are my eyes working correctly? April Fools, giggled her mother, who was watching from the other room. Brooke smiled. That was a good one, Mom. Her mom knew that Brooke loved this quirky day of the year. So, as we were reading the paragraph, you were thinking, is the author's purpose to persuade me, to inform me, to entertain, explain, or describe? So, think about your answer and then we'll see how you did. The author's purpose was to entertain. They had a fun story about a girl on April Fool's Day. Next example. If you have a lot of extra crown stubs laying around, don't throw them out. You can use them to make big, chunky crowns. Just follow these steps. 1. Collect all of your old crowns. 2. Remove the paper wrapper wrapped around the crowns. 3. Cut them into small pieces. 4. Preheat the oven to 250 degrees. 5. Fill a muffin tin 1 inch thick with the crown pieces. 6. Bake 15 to 20 minutes or until crowns are melted. And 7. Allow the tin to cool. Pop out the crowns and start coloring. So, what was the author's purpose here? To persuade, inform, entertain, explain, or describe. The author was trying to explain how to make chunky crowns out of stubs. So they were writing in a step by step, detailed manner, explaining how to do something. Next example. Dear Kate, I wish you were here at the beach with me. You would love it. Last night I sat on the beach as the sun was setting. I could feel the warm breeze while I listened to the calming, rhythmic crashing of waves against the shore. The colors of the sunset was simply beautiful. The sky had layers of red, orange, yellow, blue, violet, and magenta. It was incredible. I took a deep breath, and the feeling of fresh air filling my lungs was refreshing. The only thing that would have made the experience better is if you would have been here to see it with me. See you soon. Say hi to Mom and Dad for me. Your sister, Jessica. So, what was the author's purpose? Was it to persuade, inform, entertain, explain, or describe? You thought describe, you were correct. The author's purpose was to describe the wonderful experience of being at the beach. Next example. Many people think brown is a boring color, but I disagree. Brown is the best color of all. It is the color of teddy bears. And don't most young children go to bed with a teddy bear? Brown can give us a feeling of comfort. Brown is also the color of chocolate. Everyone loves chocolate. It's the perfect thing to make you feel better after a rough day. Don't you agree that brown is one of the best colors? What was the author's purpose here? To persuade, inform, entertain, explain, or describe? If you guessed persuade, you were correct. They're trying to get you to agree with them that brown is one of the best colors. All right, now we're going to read some passages that have multiple choice questions. According to Laura Wattenberg, author of The Baby Name Wizard, we are in the middle of a naming revolution. Never before has there been such a variety of names given to newborns. In the 1950s, half of all male babies born were given one of 25 common boys' names, while half of all female babies born were given one of 50 common girls' names. That is by no means the case today, however. According to Wattenberg, if you have 10 guesses to get somebody's name today, there's almost no chance you'll get it. But 100 years ago, if you guessed the top 10 names, you'd have a really good chance of guessing correctly. What's the reason for this change? Sociologists suggest that parents are striving to give their child a name that will be unique and distinctive, traits that are becoming increasingly prized in the world today. So, what was the author's purpose? And we have choices. Was it A, to persuade the reader to agree that babies should be given unique names? Was it B, to inform the reader about how baby naming has changed in recent years? Was it C, to inform the reader about the importance of choosing a good name for your baby? Or D, to entertain the reader with facts about baby names? So persuade, inform or entertain. These get trickier as we go because there's two different types of inform. It's just what is the author trying to inform you of? Correct answer was to inform the reader about how baby naming has changed in recent years. Let's try another. I'm going to have a baby sister in a few months, and I think my parents should name her Amelia. I think it's the right name for several reasons. First, Amelia means to work, industrious, or laborious. I think that will inspire her to be a hard worker and never give up. Secondly, I know of at least two famous and inspiring women with the name of Amelia. Amelia Earhart was the first female pilot to attempt to fly solo around the world. Even though she mysteriously disappeared attempting to do so, she was clearly a fearless and determined person. Amelia Boynton Robinson was also fearless and determined. She was a 1960s civil rights activist who championed the African American right to vote and was even brutally beaten as she bravely fought for this cause. If I were a girl, I would be honored to share a name with either of these famous women. Wouldn't you? Clearly, my parents should name my baby sister Amelia. So, what was the author's purpose? Let's look at our choices. Was it A, to entertain the reader of a story of how his baby sister got her name? Was it B, to inform the reader of famous Amelias of the past century? Was it C, to persuade the reader to agree that his parents should choose Amelia for his baby sister's name? Or D, was it to persuade the reader to agree that Amelia means to work, industrious, or laborious? The correct answer was C, to persuade the reader that his parents should choose Amelia for his baby sister's name. Next example. Squirt. Uh-oh, when you hear that familiar sound, you know what's coming next. Pew! You recognize the oh so foul odor in an instant, and just like always, you want to gag. However, given that you are babysitting your little sister, you know you have no choice but to face the fact you need to change her dirty diaper. You pick up your baby sister, and her legs start kicking with joy as you carry her quickly to her changing table. You gently set her down and then take a deep breath, trying not to inhale the awful fumes. Here we go, you think, as you slowly open the diaper, knowing the greenish brown sludge about to greet your eyes. All right, what was the author's purpose of this fun passage? Was it A, to describe to the reader the gross characteristics that go with a baby sister's dirty diaper? Was it to describe to the reader how to go about changing a dirty diaper? Was it C, to explain to the reader how to go about changing a dirty diaper? Or was it D, to entertain the reader with a story about changing a baby sister's diaper? I'll let you think about that for a second. The correct answer here was A, to describe to the reader the gross characteristics that go with a baby sister's dirty diaper. All right, that's all the practice we're going to do together. You will now have an assignment on Canvas where you will complete these paragraphs and author's purpose choices on your own.